This next edition is brought to you with the compliments of BUI Innovation, Delivery and Result. And with me right here in studio, I do have Terry Ann once again, as well as Conrad. Good afternoon, guys.
Hi, Timber.
Are you guys well?
We are absolutely well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm having one of the best Thursdays of my life.
Great.
That's how we do it right here on Gold. What do you guys have in store for us today, Terry Ann?
Timber, lately we're hearing a lot of cybercrimes in the news, especially in the areas that we work in. So today we decided it's time to talk about cybercrime, cybercriminals, and how not to fall victim of these attacks. So you're asking yourself, what is a cybercrime? Well, a cybercrime is a criminal activity that either targets or uses computers, computer networks, or network devices. Crimes that happen over the internet using your computer or cell phone or a company's IT infrastructure is an example of cybercrimes. Now, common cybercrimes are like phishing attacks. This would be when you receive an email in your inbox that tricks you into sharing information because it looks like coming from a reputable source. For example, an email that looks as though it comes from your bank when indeed it does not. Then we get things like email and internet fraud, identity theft and fraud, the theft and the sale of personal and corporate data, or instances where corporate data is taken ransom by a ransomware attack.
Now, Terry Ann, I must tell you something. I was not aware that we have so many different types of attacks. Now, we right here in Gold FM 104.3, because we are a radio station, basically we always use email. And of course, identity is another thing that we have to look into. So I'm actually quite shocked at how many different types of attacks there are.
It's shocking, and the things I've mentioned is just the tip of the iceberg. Cybercrimes are expanding and becoming more and more common as we become more and more dependent on technology with our online presence and our transactions. What are you going to do as Gold FM if your systems go down?
Correct.
That means no radio until that's been sorted out. So recently, Conrad had a friend who fell victim to attack. Conrad, could you tell us more about that incident, please?
Yes, Terry, dit het actually verlede week my skoonpa gebeur, so dit is 'n ware verhaal. Maar vir vandag gaan ons maar sê dit was Kobus, want ons almal weet, don't be like Kobus. Kobus se bank se fraud afdeling het hom gebel en gevra wanneer laas hy die kredietkaart gebruik het. Hy het geskrik en gesê actually 2 jaar gelede. Hulle het toe vir hom gesê daar is heidaglik besig om transaksies te gebeur. Dit is besig om plaas te vind in sy bankrekening. Hulle het ook vir hom sy kredietkaartnommer gegee, hulle het vir hom sy ID-nommer gegee. So dit was baie waar vir hom gewees. Al wat hulle vir hom gesê het is, al wat hy kort is SMS'e. Daar is 'n nommer op die SMS, dis al wat hulle nodig het, dan sit hulle die geld vir hom terug in die kaart, en dan sal hulle die kaart blok vir hom, maar net tydelik.
Ek neem aan hulle toe nou daai SMS'e gestuur en hy het toe nou dit vir hulle deurgegee.
Dit is presies wat gebeur het, en wat hy toe nou nie geweet het nie en R32,000 later uitgevind het, is dat daai die OTP was, en OTP staan vir One Time PIN.
Now, radio friends, OTP theft is an example of a cybercrime, and this is when a cybercriminal will use your personal data to gain access and make an online transaction using your information. What they need to complete the online transaction is your OTP, your one-time PIN that is SMS to you, and they trick you into giving this out. Now, obviously, this criminal was able to obtain this information by a breach that had happened somewhere. The information that was obtained was shared on the black market. The criminal collected everything, and all he needed to do was to initiate a transaction and trick you into sharing this information. Now, listening to this story, I saw red lights right in the beginning. I don't believe that I would have been tricked into such an attack, but as tech savvy as I am, I was almost caught out a week ago as well.
I am so shocked at this.
Yes, I don't generally monitor my junk email or my spam box, but for some reason I decided to check on that last week, and right at the top was sitting an email message from Bertie LaRue saying proof of payment. Now, I don't specifically know Bertie LaRue, but I know a few Berties, and I was really tempted to open this email and to see what money was paid and to let the person know, geez, you've really made a big mistake. Luckily for me, my suspicion overpowered my curiosity, because it turns out that email was a phishing attempt that I did not fall for. Now, with all these happenings, I realized how easy it is for us to fall into these traps of cyber criminals. So I'd really like to give our radio friends some tips and tools they can utilize to keep them and their businesses safe. So grab a pen and paper and meet us after this next song to find out more. Now, before the break, we were discussing cybercrimes and focusing on OTP theft, as this is one of the common thefts we hear about in our communities today. And with that, I'd like to share some tips to keep you safe. Now, as an individual, that's the everyday you and me, what can you do to stay safe? So number one, never give out your OTP unless you have initiated the transaction. In other words, you called your bank or you called your internet service provider. If someone calls you and requests this, ask for the reference number, end the call, and then call the institution back directly. Never open any attachments or links from emails that lie in your spam or junk mailbox. Never give out personal information via telephone or email messages unless you are certain it's a secure source. In other words, if you are sure you're communicating directly with the company. Keep an eye on your bank statements for suspicious transactions. Especially monitor your debit orders. And then, if it looks too good to be true, it probably is. You definitely did not inherit money by a long-lost aunt living in the UK. And you will not win a voucher by clicking on a link that appears on a WhatsApp message. Now, for device security, it's always important to install the Windows or the operating system updates as they are released. Don't delay, install them.
Dis nie net belangrik vir ons gewone mense om cyber smart te wees nie, Tirian. Besigheid eienaars moet ook aandag gee aan hulle mense en sisteme.
That is very true. Prevention is better than a cure. And as business owners, we especially need to be proactive rather than reactive. Conrad, do you mind sharing with us some common mistakes made by small businesses?
Yes, common mistakes. Failing to make backups of their data. It's very important.
Especially because of ransom attacks that occur so often.
Yes.
If your data is taken ransom, how are you going to move forward? You have a few options. You can either pay the money or revert to your last backup that you have made.
Yes, and failing to update their software. Underestimating the human factor. Trusting the person next to you, Temba, like Tirian. You might think she is your friend. But isn't she maybe collecting data for a cyber attack? She looks so innocent though, eh?
Thank you, Conrad. Business owners would be shocked to realize how often it's an employee who unknowingly opens the gate for the cyber criminals to come in and take what they want. Now, one of BUR's areas of expertise is in security solutions. When assisting clients with security, our team at BUR focus on a list of key areas in which they determine what weaknesses are present and what should be done to remediate this. Now, I'd like to share a few basic findings with our small business owners today. Firstly, we need to look at identity security. If possible, make use of a managed identity solution and turn on multi-factor authentication. That is, having two different types of locks on your gate. Focus on infrastructure security. Here I would say limit guest access to your network. Whatever your guest hardware is infected with might spread to your hardware if your devices are not secure. Likewise, if your guest coming in is there to actually steal information, by granting them access to your network, they might easily do so. Then we need to focus on device security. You need to ensure that your computers are up to date with the latest updates and that you have antivirus installed. Now, don't all go rush out and buy any antivirus. Windows Defender is good enough if it is up to date. Very important, we need to move away from Windows 7 and Windows XP.
Is daar regtig nog mense wat Windows XP gebruik, Tirian?
Konrad, jy sal geskok wees om te weet hoeveel besighede nog Windows 7 het. Then we need to focus on security and data security and solutions. At the very least, you should be password protecting files with sensitive information. And as mentioned before, make backups of your data. If possible, team up with a trusted partner for support. A partner can assist you with assessing and remediating your environment, as well as monitoring your environment for indicators of attack. Last but not least, educate your employees to be more security conscious. With the onset of the pandemic, we have seen cybercrimes and attacks rise at an alarming rate. It is estimated that these crimes will cost the world about $10.5 trillion a year by the year 2025. And for this reason, I cannot stress enough how important it is for us as individuals and small businesses to always be suspicious when it comes to anything cyber related and your personal or business information.
Now, Terry, I must tell you, this is some amazing detail that you guys have given me. And, of course, how you guys have opened our eyes today. I mean, like, you have been doing the very same thing from last week when you gave me that lock. And I'm not quite sure if you guys saw that lock. It's on my front door. That's where I put it. So everybody, when it comes in, they have to get out there. And, of course, I mean, like, it's better to be safe than, of course, sad at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
The same way that you said prevention is better than a cure.
Absolutely. Timba, I'm glad that you could take something away from this, and I honestly hope that the information and the tools that we've shared today can help our people in our community, our radio friends, our colleagues to be safe, and that this does not happen to them. And that's it for this installment of Tech Talk. Tune in next week to find out more about your online identity. Same place, same time. See you.